Coming up on ATV News.
Chalk it all up to a big misunderstanding. We'll show you why the university is reviewing some of their policies about sidewalk art.
Music is on the rise, and we're not talking about the volume. We'll show you what a new study reveals about listening to tunes.
This family is taking home makeover to a whole new level. Find out what sets them apart from the rest.
The Utah State football team had a bye this week, but don't worry, this isn't the only football we have for you.
Will you become a true Aggie in the rain? We'll tell you in weather.
All that and more, this is ATV.
Welcome to ATV News. I'm Misty Inglet.
And I'm Alicia Facer.
USU is working to tweak the student code after an incident last week exposed some conflicting policies. 4 Aggies took part in National Pro-Life Chalk Day at this plaza on the northeast corner of the quad last Thursday. The students, who weren't available for comment, drew almost 900 hearts and a message against abortion before campus police told them to clean it up because they didn't have a permit. They report the cops saying that such a public message would be offensive to those in favor of abortion and that the walkway could get posted online and become a big deal. The activists cleaned up their chalk but told a national blog that people write with chalk all over campus. Now the school is apologizing for conflicting policies that put everybody involved in an uncomfortable spot.
The students in this case were very much within their rights, and not only within their rights, good for them for expressing their rights, I would say. This is what we want students doing, taking sides on the issues that affect their lives. So not only are we apologizing, I mean, my message to them would be good for you.
Vitale says USU is proud to defend students' First Amendment rights and that the policy will be reworded so the mistake doesn't happen again.
Police say a motorcyclist is lucky to be alive after hitting a van by the Kane College of the Arts on Sunday. As the van took a left-hand turn to go towards Logan Canyon, a motorcyclist coming from that direction collided with it. The passengers, who you see here, as well were safe, as well as the driver, but the motorcyclist had to be flown to a Salt Lake hospital. Police say to prevent accidents and injuries, they encourage defense in driving.
And we certainly advocate in your car that you wear your seatbelt, and advocate if you're riding a motorcycle that you wear protective gear, clothing, and especially a helmet.
This year is the 10th anniversary of the car crash that killed 8 ag students and 1 professor on a field trip. Families and students gathered along Aggie Boulevard Friday for the tractor parade held by Cass to commemorate the accident. The memorial on campus was decorated with flowers and visited by family members of those who died in the accident.
This is something that means a lot to me, and there's this little place. It's kind of relatively secluded, and I can just come and I can sit here and just look at it, look at this, and soak it in, and just think about, you know, what's gone on before me.
Hundreds of students were left without a place to live this school year when their apartment complex emailed them and said they wouldn't be done in time. Our Sarah Winder looked into where some of those students are living now. Sarah?
Thanks, Alicia. So when the factory wasn't ready in time, 300 USU students had to find a place to live in just 2 weeks. And some of those students had to get a little creative with their living arrangements.
Sydney Barton keeps most of her clothes in the trunk of her car because there isn't enough room for them in the 26-inch Airstream she shares with her roommate Malone. But Sydney and Malone didn't always want to live in a trailer park. They wanted to live in an apartment with perks like pool tables, a bowling alley, and double-decker hot tubs.
We found the factory and I was like, oh Mom, like I can't live anywhere else now. Like look at this place.
What they got instead was an email just 2 weeks before school started that said construction wasn't done.
It was stressful. Like, I was stressed for school anyways, you know, like being a freshman. I don't really know what I'm doing.
But even with all that stress, Sydney and Malone came up with an option they were excited about.
I asked my dad, I was like, hey, what other options are there? And he's like, we have the Airstream, and really hesitant about letting us live there. And I was like, oh, that'd be so fun, like right away.
It sounded like an adventure, even if it was a small one. I'm only 5'2", but even for me, this space seems small. So imagine a couple more inches and a few more people. This place could get really crammed really quick.
It's definitely small, but, and like sometimes we just like rub bodies because we're just trying to get by.
But even in their close quarters, Sydney and Malone say their situation is all about their outlook.
It hasn't been like too bad. I mean, it's just like a fun story. You just have to, I think it's all about how you look at it.
Even with their positive attitudes, Sydney and Malone still don't have any plans to move into the factory anytime soon.
We're not going back to the factory. They say they're going to be done in January, but yeah, we don't want to trust that. Now, I've been in contact over the phone with a factory representative who said that they won't be able to release more information until October 15th when they start their tours again. But I was assured that a January 8th move-in date was set for their first building. Back to you.
Thanks, Sarah. To set up a tour or find out more, visit our Facebook page for the factory's contact information.
Some students may have a stronger desire to be involved in the political process after former Utah Representative Jim Matheson visited USU students on Friday.
Voting has declined as well. And why is that a problem? Because as it declines, who is still involved in our political process? It's the more extreme elements. It's the more passionate extremes, the more ideological extremes.
That's one reason Matheson gave for why the political process doesn't seem to be working during Friday night's Pizza and Politics. He said other contributors include corporations spending too much money on politicians' campaigns and the press making complicated issues look like they have only two sides. Matheson told USU students more independents should vote to combat extremism.
The majority of us are independents. If we rise up together, our voice is going to be stronger than the extremes.
The next Pizza and Politics event will be tomorrow at 5:30 in the Merrill Kazir Library.
Only Mexico has a larger Hispanic population than the U.S., and if you haven't noticed, it's growing. Our Caroline Peterson takes us to the annual Logan Hispanic Festival held by the Logan Library, where heritage and culture was celebrated.
When we get together and we bring all this music, what we're bringing is our identities, our stories.
Music is a central part of what makes up Hispanic culture, and it's taught at a young age.
We wanted the children to learn the Mexican song and then be able to come and be a part of it. So then with that, hopefully they themselves, learn to love the culture.
But the children weren't the only ones to perform. High school students did the salsa merengue, another group did Mexican folklore, and some dances included everyone.
Just like learning steps to a dance, there's a lot you can learn about Spanish culture. We love music, we love food. Anytime we can get our hands on real, authentic, Hispanic food. We're family oriented. We enjoy life. We love to smile.
And with a desire to share these lifestyles, it wasn't easy at first.
We moved here in '96, and there weren't a whole bunch of, Hispanic people, I guess, here in the community, so it's kind of hard, to be part of, what we knew back in our country.
And now 15% of Logan's community is Latinos, and that continues to grow.
There's something to learn and to love and appreciate, acknowledge from every culture.
Caroline Peterson, ATV News.
The Logan Library will be implementing more programs to involve all different cultures. Contact them for more information.
When we come back, find out how you can stay more focused in class.
And the return of fall means this popular flavor is back at the coffee house.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help,
Welcome back. A woman is alive after taking a big fall in Providence Canyon last week. A 25-year-old woman was hiking last Wednesday night when she fell around 100 feet. Rescue crews had to use ATVs and rope to get to her, and it took them about half an hour to pull her out. She was conscious when they reached her. She was transported to Logan Regional Hospital. We don't know the extent of her injuries, but she is expected to be okay.
A new app has recently come to Utah State that is helping kids pay attention in class. Our Taylor Murray went out to show us more.
Oh, that's so cool.
This app is called Pocket Points, and it is slowly becoming the new trend at Utah State. Pocket Point uses geolocation when you connect to the school's Wi-Fi and gives you points every 15 minutes as long as your phone isn't in use. Many college students use class as an excuse to browse social media and don't pay attention to what they are supposed to learn.
I think it's pretty cool because I'm really bad about just we have a break in class and I look at my phone, and so it's kind of an incentive not to.
A brand ambassador has been promoting the app at USU for about 3 weeks and is already seeing growth.
It really is growing by itself. I mean, it just makes sense, you know. Put your phone away in class and then you get free stuff from local businesses.
You can use the points you earn to get discounts at local businesses around Cache Valley. USU students can redeem their points to get discounts on Aggie gear like this, or students can also get discount on food at places like Morty's and KFC. But the real question is, what's the incentive for teachers?
I love the idea that maybe students will be encouraged to, rewarded for staying off their phones, and I hope that means they'll be more engaged in what's going on in class.
While no one knows the extent of Pocket Point's impact, Wayand has high expectations for it.
I'm hoping for it to become a staple for Utah State students.
Taylor Murray, ATV News.
Pocket Points is free to download on Google Play and the iTunes Store. This week is Utah State's homecoming, and the events got started Monday night with a male pageant. Mr. USU featured 12 male contestants who represented different clubs and colleges around campus. There was a talent, fitness, and formal section to the contest. Thomas Rogers was crowned the 2015 to 2016 Mr. USU. For homecoming tonight, the Powder Puff Championship is at 8 at Maverick Stadium.
Do you track how much music you listen to each week? A new study out shows it may be more than you think. We went out to see if USU students know how much music plays a part in their lives. Music. You listen to it walking around campus, while you're eating lunch, even while you're studying. Americans love listening to music. According to a study by Nielsen, most people spend an average of 24 hours per week listening to music. USU students alone spend,
I'd say at least 2 hours a day at least.
Well, every day for sure, probably 3 or 4 times.
Actually, intently listening, probably 10, 15 hours a week.
At least a few hours a day, because it's just always in the car, in the gym, studying.
Students get their music in different ways.
I use the Spotify app and I just listen to it on my iPhone.
Most of the time it's probably here, so it's just kind of like Spotify or YouTube or something like that.
And it's not just USU students. According to Nielsen, 44% of people use their smartphones to listen to music in some way. 75% of people go online, up 12% from 2014. With places like the internet that have easy access to music, the amount we listen to is always increasing. And it doesn't seem to be fading out anytime soon. Popular websites for music among people we asked were Spotify, Pandora, and YouTube. When we come back, ATV's David Matthew Stewart will have your weather forecast.
The current temperature in Logan is a cloudy 81 degrees.
Can you say with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Welcome back. So David, it's a little warm out there, but it's mostly cloudy. It's not as warm and sunny as it has been. What's up with that?
How is it making you feel?
Not so good. A little anxious because I love fall, but that means cold weather.
I'm excited. I want fall weather. So,
well,
are we coming?
You're going to have mixed reactions then. Let's go on over to the map and I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so what we've got happening here is, if you look up here, we've got the storms that are blowing on up from tropical storm. No, I'm sorry, Joaquin is over here. He just got upgraded to a hurricane, so it's Hurricane Joaquin's blowing some stuff up this way. Rest of the country is pretty dry, except for over Texas. I'm sure they're done with rain, but they'll be fine with it. If we can bring it on over local to the state map. Okay, if you look at the state, we can see that there's kind of like a little band right here, just blowing through up on from Mexico. That's coming up from tropical storm Marty, and we've got. Well, let's bring it over to the 7-day, and I'll tell you what's going on there. So we've got on today. It's been cloudy, probably not too much rain today or tomorrow. But the next day, I put on a whole bunch of rain, as you can see. That's going to be our big rain day. But then the rest of the week is going to be pretty wet as well. We've got less chance of showers as the week goes on. Thank you. But it will cool down as well. We'll start at 82 degrees tomorrow with the high. We'll cool down to 50. The next Friday will be 62 degrees as the high, and then 67 is the low. And then through the weekend, we've got 70. We're going to stick around 70 degrees, as you can see, but maybe a little bit of a thunderstorm on Sunday. And then we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, and hopefully we'll have some more sun back by next week. But until then, we're going to be pretty cold, pretty miserable. Get your Ugg boots out and enjoy some pumpkin spice.
All right, coming up in sports, we're going to show you how the soccer team opened up conference play this weekend.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite. Unearth hidden passion. Come on, have a good time. One book could be the first element. Helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite.
The Aggies are 0-2 in conference play following a rough weekend. Utah State was shut out by New Mexico on Friday, and the Aggies only had 2 shots on goal. In fact, stop the clip. We don't have any Aggie highlights for you. In fact, what we do have is the single highlight, is the lone goal scored by New Mexico's Ruth Bruquiaga in the second half. That would be the lone goal that the Lobos needed to win.
This game, we might not have been our best, but on Sunday, nobody can doubt that we absolutely are going to come out harder than anybody expects.
The Aggies were unable to bounce back from that loss on Sunday against San Diego State. As you can see, it was a busy game in the net for senior goalkeeper Jeannie Wohler. Close defensive plays were a recurring theme for the Aggies, but they were able to hold the Aztecs scoreless in the first half. The floodgates would open, however, in the 56th minute when Leah Pruitt would put the Aztecs on top. 20 minutes later, Morgan Darling would add to the scoring with this shot that went off the crossbar and into the goal. The Aggies did have a scoring chance late when Jessica Brooksby got fouled just outside the box. Brooksby would send the resulting set piece over the wall and into the keeper's hands. The Wohler would have 6 saves, but USU was held scoreless in the game.
I thought the game came down to some crucial moments.
some mistakes defensively that they capitalized on, and then we weren't quite able to make that play in the attack.
The Aggies will now go on a 4-game road trip. The USU volleyball team is 0-2 in conference play after they kicked off Mountain West play last week. The Aggies were first swept by Colorado State in Fort Collins on Thursday. They then traveled to Laramie to take on Wyoming, where they lost 3-1. The Utah State football team will start conference play against Colorado State on Saturday. The Aggies had a bye week last week and a 1-2 on the season. This will be the first game started by sophomore quarterback Kent Myers this year after it was announced last week that Chucky Keaton sprained his MCL.
I think the things that Kent Myers brings to the table is some athleticism. I think he brings confidence based on his play last year and how he feels about himself and how our players feel about him. Our players are very, very confident in him, I can tell you that.
The game is also USU's homecoming game. The game will be the Aggies' annual whiteout game, which means that not only will the team be wearing all white, but the fans too. The Herd-sponsored whiteout t-shirts are on sale in the bookstore this week for $6. As you can see, I've decided to model one. Now they're a little basic, but I mean, at the very least, you're wearing a Utah State white shirt. In Hiram, the Weber Warriors came over to play the Mountain Crest Mustangs. In the first quarter, the Warriors would attempt to pass behind the line of scrimmage, but it's picked off by Cody Olson, who wastes no time taking the ball 60 yards into the end zone. But Weber doesn't just roll over and play dead. As you can see coming up here, Cameron Mortensen makes this beautiful pass to Brevin Dean, who says, "Can't touch this," as he dashes for 40 yards for the touchdown. In the end, the Warriors would only make one more touchdown against the Mustangs, who would win the game, 46-14. Mountain Crest is still undefeated and will go to Roy this weekend to take on the Royals. That's it for sports this week, but there are plenty of sporting events you can get out to this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jeffrey. Coming up, he's got beauty, he's got class. Find out who the new Mr. USU is.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it. You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early.
You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Looking for a new home? One Smithfield family is ditching their house for 4 wheels. I went to visit the Stoll family to find out just where their big adventure is taking them.
Brad Stoll and his family are doing their own remodeling, but it's not on their home.
This bus popped up on the classifieds, and my 15-year-old, 14 at the time, and I started thinking about, let's do this, we could live in a bus.
A 40-foot bus. This family of 7 is turning this bus into their next family adventure.
I started to think, you know what, we really don't need this big of a house. So let's start thinking maybe something smaller. We're gonna have to get a big fridge.
The family put insulation inside the bus and will put a composting toilet and a 2-foot tall water basin shower in this corner. 15-year-old Maisie Stoll first came up with the bus idea.
I've always wanted to travel and like to see other places, and like the bus is the perfect opportunity to do that.
The inside isn't the only thing getting remodeled.
It may not look like it now, but the family hopes to make this skylight the entrance to the deck that they want to put on the roof to give them more space and a second story for their family.
I like yellow.
The red color right now is just a rust stopper, but the outside will be repainted. It's a lot of work, and there's still more to be done before it can go mobile.
Now I think I'm just ready to be on the bus and just travel everywhere.
Woo! You did it! 2-year-old Echo isn't the only one who likes to help. The whole family gets involved and already loves spending time together on the bus before it even hits the road.
The family has started selling their belongings to prepare for the limited space on the bus.
Well, if you couldn't tell it's fall by the weather, a certain item at the cafe might tip you off. Our Amy Reed tells you which drink can signal the beginning of the season.
It tastes like fall. It's a crowd favorite in the fall, so they're very popular right now.
As the weather cools off, pumpkin spice lattes are returning to Utah State.
I get so many people asking about pumpkin flavors. I think I make around, right now, 20 to 30 pumpkin spices lattes a day.
I have to order it in the fall. I think that's probably why it's so big, because, you know, it brings back all those good memories, and then, you know, you keep ordering it in the fall. So if you order it any other time, it just tastes wrong.
I think a lot of people choose pumpkin spice because it's really sweet and it's like got a little bit of like spicy flavor in there, and it's like to the seasons.
In addition to lattes, companies have released seasonal pumpkin flavors in foods like Pop-Tarts and Cliff Bars.
This particular Pop-Tart was very warm since it just came out of the toaster, and it tasted not so much like pumpkin pie, but more like a graham cracker with pumpkin pie slathered on it.
The pumpkin flavoring you're trying in stores isn't necessarily every type of pumpkin that's out in the field. These types of pumpkins are grown especially for jack-o'-lanterns.
These are just strictly for decorating. The ones that you would use for baking, that you have to have a specific kind because the inside is a lot thicker.
So why are people so crazy about pumpkin flavored everything?
As it gets colder, people get excited for fall, and pumpkin's just one of those flavors that everybody seems to love.
I think it's a really yummy flavor, of course.
But those that try it say it doesn't live up to the real thing.
I would compare it to getting like a cherry flavored popsicle versus eating a real cherry.
Amy Reed, ATV News.
If you want to try some pumpkin flavored food, the Hub will begin serving pumpkin pancakes and rolls beginning October 1st. One does not simply stop posting memes. The Merrill Kazir Library is holding a meme contest for you to create a funny caption with a picture from the Special Collections archives. The historic photo meme contest gives students an opportunity to explore the image collections located in USU's library. The university has over 500,000 negatives and photographs of Utah State, Logan, and Cache Valley archived.
Once the students find a photo on the digital library that they think is interesting in some way, add some text to make it funny. And it's not normally the way that we use our historical photos, but we thought this would be a fun way for students to explore the digital library and see some of the resources that we have to offer that maybe they didn't know about.
Submissions are due on October 9th, and the winner receives a pizza party with 10 of their closest friends. For more information, follow the link on our Facebook page. Thank you for joining us on this edition of ATV News.
Last night was the street painting here, and in case you missed it, we leave you with some shots of the paintings. See you next week.